Anyone can do simple building tasks.
I made some adjustments to the blueprint.
What the heck, Tom?
I knew Tom was involved in this.
Huh? Do you know him, Mr. Anderson?
Do I know him? Don't you know what your son-in-law does for a living?
Trouble busters!
Anyone can do simple building tasks.
My name is Tom. I'm part of a construction team to build an event dome that my father-in-law is associated with.
All you guys know is how to build a house. I can build one too. Do you know why? Because you have an architect license, right?
And he's been saying things that just aren't putting everyone in the right mood. 60% of what he says consists of insults, and the other 40% are bragging. I had no idea he was like this. He looks like a bear, but acts like a fox in front of some others.
All right, the morning meeting is over. Make sure you guys keep up with me.
I don't know if I should have ever signed this contract. But work is just work. And after we continued on with work for 2 years and a month...
What is it, Tom? Just get back to work.
We aren't able to continue the construction.
Huh?
If we continue, the dome will not quite be airtight, and it could end up becoming vulnerable to rain. It wouldn't have much earthquake resistance either, and it could end up with cracks if there was one.
I drew the blueprint so anyone like you guys can still build the dome. There are a lot of ways that we can still adjust it so we can make the building stronger.
But that sounds like things aren't planned too well.
Why didn't you say anything when I gave you the blueprint then, huh?
I didn't even imagine that you'd give me an incomplete blueprint.
If you want me to revise the blueprint, it's gonna be an additional charge.
Additional charge?
It only makes sense because you guys messed up, and you need me to revise the blueprint. I'm fine with paying you 50% of our contract, too.
This bastard. Just to make sure I could plan on any emergencies, I decided to seal this deal with half of what my father-in-law had initially agreed to pay us.
You guys are so incompetent you can't even figure these problems out on your own. I really don't understand why we need these stupid carpenters. Use your brain while you're alive, son.
He's been rude and arrogant, he's not responsible for his work, and he insults carpenters. Let's go, guys. I'm not letting him get away with this. Trouble busters!
This is wonderful. Nathan, isn't this your first time building such a large dome?
Well, it wasn't too difficult for me to build a dome this size. Are you sure about that? Huh? We saw the blueprint, but it was quite terrible. To be quite honest with you, I'm surprised that you were able to complete this dome with such a sloppy blueprint. Oh, I mean, the blueprint was just there to kick off the project, and we made sure to be flexible with our plans. May we ask how you were able to manage the completion of this building, even though the blueprint was such a sloppy mess? Well...
That was because I made sure I made some adjustments to the blueprint as I felt responsible to the project manager.
What the heck, Tom?
I knew Tom was involved in this.
Huh? Do you know him, Mr. Anderson?
Do I know him? Don't you know what your son-in-law does for a living?
What do you mean by that?
He's a first-class architect, although he chooses to place himself at construction sites.
What? But he never told me anything about that.
Having too many pilots will bring the ship to the mountain. I figured we didn't need 2 architects for the same project as it can bring some trouble. I'm sure Tom didn't tell you because he knew that you are also an architect.
But I've been in the industry longer.
It doesn't matter how long you've been in the industry, it doesn't always give you talent. You seem to misunderstand your position. You only consider the site workers to be your slaves. Tom knows how to think outside the box. He's always creative and welcomes new ideas and thoughts.
But I've been responsible in completing this project, sir.
And you completed this project thanks to Tom's blueprint. I'm so glad that I made sure I placed someone who knows what he's doing for this project.
Does that mean you placed him in this project in case I turned out to be a failure?
That's right, especially since my company spent a lot to develop this project. I had to make sure it was successful.
But let me remind you that this dome came to completion because I had taken charge, and I want to make sure you know that. If you say so, could you kindly explain to us?
What exactly were your plans to complete this project with such a terrible blueprint?
Your results are all that matter. I took charge, and the dome was completed.
You're such a liar, you don't even deserve to call yourself an architect.
What did you just say?
We never did a single thing that you told us to.
But I came up with the blueprint.
And Tom shared with you the faults that the blueprint had when all you did was to tell us to handle it on our own.
That's not true. I told Tom that I'd be willing to edit the blueprint if only he was willing to pay for an additional charge. It wasn't like I was neglectful.
Does that mean you would have been able to complete the project if only you got paid?
That's what my job is.
Interesting. Let me pay you then.
Huh?
I'll pay you, so why don't you come up with the blueprint?
Oh, I'm going to need some time.
You can take as much time as you want. When can you get it done?
3 months?
You can't spend 3 months. You'd be overdue if this was a real project. Tom was able to pull it off.
Can I confirm that you admit how Tom is a superior architect compared to yourself?
What? But Tom is still young and unexperienced while I've been in this industry for over 20 years.
Why don't you prove it then?
Even an amateur architect would come up with a better blueprint than you. Aren't you ashamed of yourself sitting there all comfy?
What?
Did you even thank Tom for saving your sorry butt?
How dare you sit there as if you completed this project when you only gave us a faulty blueprint?
That's because I'm the executive chief for this project, and that's why...
Why don't you explain how exactly you took responsibilities for your blueprint then?
We don't need excuses, just show us what you've got.
I already told you that I'm going to need more time.
Are you sure about that? Besides, do you even know what exactly was wrong with this blueprint?
I kind of do know.
You kind of do know? Does that mean you don't exactly know?
Please, hold on.
Huh? What?
Oh? You guys can't just keep saying whatever you want. You're making Nathan embarrassed.
Oh, Tom!
What I'm trying to say is that
I knew you'd be on my side. Tell them everything you have on your mind.
I can't possibly miss out on this interrogation, so may I please join you guys?
What the heck, Tom?
Me too.
Mr. Anderson!
I've only wanted to be nice to you because you're my wife's father, but I've had enough. My company, Trubus Construction Company, will never sign any contracts with you ever again.
What? But Tammy isn't going to be happy if you do something like that.
You fool. Tammy's already super upset with you, and she said she won't ever talk to you again.
What?
Hey, answer our questions. You haven't answered anything.
I don't have time for that. Hey, Tom, did Tammy really say she won't talk to me again?
Of course she won't. You only look down at the carpenters. Who would ever want to talk to a guy like you? No one. No one wants to deal with you.
How dare you! I want you to apologize to all of us.
That's right. You need to apologize, especially to Tom.
Explain.
Apologize. With this sloppy blueprint, this dome would have become vulnerable to rain. What exactly was your plan to prevent that from happening?
Was it your plan to build the world's first dome that has a roof without any use?
Was this what you said about how the blueprint was left with blanks to fill in for the carpenters to figure out for fun?
It was no fun. It was just a sloppy excuse for your sloppy job. Why can't you just admit it?
Oh my God, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I'm gonna make sure I make this right.
And that's all you had to say, and I would have been simply willing to help you out. I wouldn't have had a problem letting you call yourself the one who took charge of this project, too. I heard you've been struggling with your business recently. I was initially planning on having Tom's company take care of this entire project.
What?
Your company wasn't even in my plan, and that was because I didn't think your company would have been capable.
But why? You said you had Tom associated with this project just in case.
I said that just to be nice to you.
I mean, look what happened after Nathan took charge. Mr. Anderson made the right decision to keep Tom associated.
I thought we were all here to help each other out, and that's why I thought it'd be best if you took charge of the project while I supported you through the project. And I agreed to that, with my only condition being that I needed Tom to support you, Nathan.
We honestly didn't like the idea because you'd be taking all the credit that Tom would have deserved.
But Tom talked to all of us and said he really wanted you to take charge for this project, and that's the only reason why we stayed on board.
I had no idea.
I personally wanted to see what it was like to get to work with you, too.
I understand now.
But I guess this is all over now.
What? Wait, Tom!
Now I know what kind of person you are after working with you closely for this entire time. You don't deserve to call yourself an architect.
Wait, hold on. You can't just deny me like that. What? I may have said something about additional charges and half pay, but those were just all jokes.
Jokes? Really?
Yeah, just some stupid jokes. Who in the world would talk about additional charges when it was his own fault for drawing a faulty blueprint? That wouldn't make sense, would it?
That's right. It makes no sense, and you tried to pull it off.
What? No way. I don't know anything about that.
Why do you keep doing this to yourself? No one will ever trust you, and no one will ever see any ethics in you if you keep acting like this.
What? You had that with you?
Of course I had this with me. I kept it just in case I couldn't come up with any idea on how to save this project.
You're such a terrible architect.
Hey, all of you reporters should keep a record of this. Don't even let this guy build a doghouse.
I'm ending my contract with you effective immediately. We'll never see each other ever again. My wife is currently suggesting that your wife break up with you.
Break up?
Of course she'd do that. Just think about what happens after the reporters break the news about this dome. Your clients who had you build their homes, real estate brokers, they're all going to be concerned about the buildings that you took charge of. I'm sure they're going to get home inspections.
No, that's not going to be okay.
Why not?
Oh God, can't you at least tell us that the other projects you've completed were good?
I mean, y'all have a lot to say about me.
Of course we would.
Power tripping, sloppy blueprint, neglecting to take responsibilities,
stealing credits, making excuses, coming up with sloppy lies.
Do you even realize how much misery you've exposed out of yourself at such a public setting? Completing large projects like this will give you fame and wealth, but it'll completely demolish your reputation if you fail. It's obviously a high-risk, high-return job to do.
As the person in charge of construction, you should have done your best to harmonize yourself with those you work with.
After today, you're on trial. And what will happen depends on whether you had integrity with the projects you've been in charge of or not.
By the way, since Tom completed this project and fulfilled his contract with you, he's fully booked with clients for the next 5 years. Starting tomorrow, everyone in the construction industry has been saying good things about Tom's company.
But I didn't know that.
And that's because you're blind with what's going on in the industry. It's good that you're proud of yourself, but you should be more open to ideas and information. But I guess it's already too late for that.
Tom!
Oh God, what's the matter? Stop that!
Please, protect my company.
Protect what?
I'm your father-in-law. You have to save me. Look, if you need time to forgive me, I don't mind waiting.
Who in the world do you think you are?
Huh?
What makes you think you can ask me to do that? Do you really think I'd forgive you if you apologize like that?
I'm sorry. I know I was in the wrong, but I wanted to make sure you knew that I'm still superior to you.
Just quit this already. Don't even apologize because it's only displeasing me.
But this is the best apology that I could give. I'm sorry. I'll fix myself. So tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Don't talk to me.
Wait, Tom, please. You have to help me out.
Let me make it clear that even if I were to try to help him out, he's already helpless. This guy is a monster. There's no way I could save him. As we all predicted, as soon as the reporters broadcast what we all saw at the ceremony, Nathan's company started receiving countless complaints.
Yes, I understand. Please kindly hold for a moment.
Oh, God!
Oh, is that so? I'm sorry to hear that. We will make sure to report this and make this right for you. We are truly sorry.
Oh my God, this is enough! It just cut off the phone line!
I heard he was screaming across his office all day long. After investigation, it was discovered that about 35% of the homes that he built had been based on faulty blueprints that he drew. He became responsible for the property damage. He lost all assets he had for the company. He lost all his clients. The only thing he had was trial. After a trial, after another trial, he had to file for bankruptcy for his company and close down his business. He wanted to file for bankruptcy for his accounts too, but it didn't go as he wished.
What do you mean I'm still liable for the debt even after I shut down the business?
And that's because your case would be considered duty of diligence, which is moral, legal, or contractual obligation to act with care and prudence in the performance of one's duties.
Oh, God!
It looks like you filed bankruptcy for something similar to this case in the past, and I don't think this is possible.
But how do you even know that my case would be considered duty of diligence?
It's a fact, not an assumption.
But why?
Based on what you told me, I believe the fact that you made a critical business decision that caused the closure of your company would apply as the reason why.
But that's too strict. All business owners need to make some kind of decision at one point, and there are always unknowns and risks.
I understand where you're coming from. If the duty of diligence applied to every business decision being made, it would almost be impossible for any business owners or chairmen of large companies to ever come up with that business decision.
All right, so you do get what I mean.
However, your company has ended up building way too many faulty buildings. Out of the 3,000 home inspections conducted, 1,050 of those buildings have ended up with construction flaws. And that's nearly 35% of the buildings completed by your company. This is a critical error in making business decisions, and therefore you would be responsible for the duty of diligence, at least at a greater chance.
As Mr. Cobweb explained, Nathan had ended up with a large personal debt due to his case being subject to duty of diligence.
But I didn't do any of this on purpose.
He became a well-known person in the construction industry with a terrible reputation. Not only couldn't he start his business again, but he faced challenges finding a new job at all. His daughter and his wife had disowned him. I overheard from someone that he currently works in the countryside where no one knows him as a handyman, fixing things around people's houses.
But I used to be an architect.
As for me, I've been getting more and more clients reaching out to me after completing the Dome project. I'm looking forward to building meaningful establishments to contribute to society with my guys alongside me. Trouble Busters!